Hey everyone, ready to nail that American English job interview?
I think we can help with that.
We're diving deep into Rachel's English's awesome guide.
Oh, yeah. It's packed with advice.
It's like having a secret weapon for interview prep.
For sure.
We'll uncover those subtle cultural things that can really make a difference.
Sometimes those are the trickiest parts, right?
Okay, let's jump in. The guide starts with small talk. I used to think, small talk, who needs it?
Yeah, I get that.
But Rachel's English really opened my eyes. It's not just random chit-chat.
Right. In American culture, it's like this crucial warm-up act.
Oh, I see. It helps build that connection before getting down to business.
Exactly. And it sets a positive tone for the whole interview.
But honestly, sometimes I feel so awkward with small talk, especially when I'm already nervous.
I hear you. The guide actually has some sample dialogues.
Really?
Yeah, you can practice those opening exchanges.
Wow, so you can kind of get comfortable with the flow.
Exactly. It's like having a script for those first few minutes.
That's such a good idea. Could be a real confidence booster.
Absolutely.
Okay, so once we've nailed the small talk, what's next?
Well, then it's time for those interview questions.
Uh-oh, the part everyone dreads.
Don't worry, the guide breaks down all the common ones.
Okay, that's reassuring.
It doesn't just give sample answers, it really gets into what the hiring managers are looking for.
Oh, that's helpful. I always get tripped up by that tell me about yourself question.
It's a classic, isn't it?
Yeah, where's the line between showing off your skills and sounding like you're just reciting your resume?
That's where understanding the American context comes in. They want to hear about your professional experience.
Okay, so I should skip the part about my cat collection.
Probably best to keep it focused.
Right, got it. So, concise and relevant to the job.
You got it.
Makes sense.
And think about impactful sound bites like, I have 5 years of experience in.
Oh, I see. Instead of just saying I'm creative or whatever.
Right. Give them concrete examples of what you've achieved.
That's a good tip. I'm taking notes. Okay, now what about the what's your greatest weakness question?
Ah, yes, the dreaded weakness question. It can feel like a trap.
It totally does.
Yeah.
What if I accidentally confess to something terrible?
Well, the key is to frame your weakness as an area for growth.
Oh, that's smart.
You're being honest, but also showing that you're self-aware.
I like that approach.
Yeah.
So instead of saying, I'm terrible at public speaking.
You could say, public speaking is something I'm actively working on. I've joined Toastmasters.
Right. Showing that you're taking steps to improve.
Exactly. It shows a growth mindset, which is really attractive to employers.
Growth mindset. Love it. Okay, what about the where do you see yourself in 5 years question?
That one's all about showing you've done your research on the company.
So I shouldn't just say, I want to be CEO.
Maybe not right away.
Okay. I need to think about how my goals fit with their goals.
Now you're getting it. Tailor your response to their specific company.
It shows you're not just looking for any job.
Right. It's about finding the right fit for both of you.
This is making a lot more sense now. I feel way more confident about tackling those tricky questions.
That's great to hear.
But it's not just about the words we use, right?
Yeah.
What about all those nonverbal cues?
You're right. Those can make a huge impact too.
How much does the guide focus on that?
Quite a bit, actually. It even has this awesome mock interview video.
Wow, that's cool.
It's a goldmine for understanding how nonverbal communication works in American interviews.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more. What kind of things does it highlight?
Well, for example, they talk a lot about the importance of a firm handshake.
Really? Why is that such a big deal in American culture?
It's seen as a sign of confidence and assertiveness.
So like a limp handshake is a no-no.
Pretty much. It's that first impression that can set the tone.
Interesting. What about posture? I tend to get a bit fidgety when I'm nervous.
The guide emphasizes maintaining an upright posture, but not being stiff.
So no slouching,
Yeah?
but also no standing at attention.
Exactly. Think engaged and alert, but also approachable.
I can try that. Okay, what about facial expressions? Do I need to be super serious?
No, not at all. In American culture, showing enthusiasm is a good thing.
So it's okay to smile and nod and make eye contact.
Absolutely. It shows you're interested and involved in the conversation.
Okay, that's good to know. I can definitely do that. Now, I've always wondered about this. Is it ever okay to crack a joke in an interview?
That's a tricky one.
I figured. It seems so risky.
The guide actually suggests that one well-placed joke can be a good icebreaker,
Really?
but too much humor can come across as unprofessional.
Right. It's all about finding the right balance.
Exactly. It's like walking a tightrope.
One wrong step and it could all be over. Okay, so we've covered so much about American interview etiquette. Is there anything else the guide really emphasizes?
One crucial point is that all this advice is specific to American culture.
Oh, that's a good reminder. What works in one country might not work in another.
Exactly. So for anyone interviewing in America for the first time, this cultural understanding is super important.
It's like a whole other language.
Yeah.
I'm sure our listeners from all over the world have some interesting interview experiences to share. Let's hear them in the comments.
Yes, please. We love hearing those different perspectives. After all, interviewing is a global thing, but those rules can change a lot depending on where you are.
Okay, I'm feeling way more prepared for my next American English job interview already. But I have a feeling there's even more to learn.
Oh, definitely. There's a lot more to unpack. In part 2, we'll delve into specific interview questions and responses, and we'll do a deeper analysis of that mock interview video.
Awesome. I can't wait to see what other gems we uncover.
Welcome back. We're breaking down Rachel's English's Guide to American English Job Interviews.
I'm ready for more. Last time we talked about those common interview questions.
Yeah, like the tell me about yourself.
Right. But I bet there are some trickier ones, right?
You bet. Hiring managers like to throw in some curveballs.
Oh no. Like what?
Well, the guide mentions one. Tell me about a time you suffered a setback, but had to stay enthusiastic.
Whoa, that's tough. What are they even looking for with a question like that?
It seems like they want to see your resilience, your positive attitude.
Makes sense. So I shouldn't just say, I'm good at handling setbacks.
Probably not. It's better to tell a story.
Story.
Yeah. Pick a real experience where you faced a challenge and bounced back.
Oh, so they can really see how I handled it.
Exactly. Don't just tell them, show them.
Okay, I like that. But what if they ask something totally unexpected, something I haven't prepared for?
Well, the guide suggests practicing for all sorts of questions.
Even the weird ones.
Especially the weird ones. The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll be thinking on your feet.
It's like mental gymnastics.
Exactly. You're training your brain to be adaptable.
I need to get to the gym. Okay, we keep talking about this amazing mock interview video. Can we dig into that a little more?
Absolutely. The guide has a full transcript of the interview.
Ooh, so we can analyze it.
Exactly. We can really break down the strategy she uses.
Cool. What stood out to you as particularly effective?
I was really impressed with her answer to what attracted you to our company.
Oh yeah, that one's tricky.
She went beyond just generic compliments.
So she did her research.
She did. She mentioned specific things about the company that resonated with her.
Wow, so she showed a genuine interest.
Exactly. It showed she really understood the company's mission.
And that she's not just looking for any job.
Right. It's about finding a place where her values align.
I love that. It's more about finding a good fit, not just getting a paycheck.
You got it. What else impressed you?
Let me see. Oh, I thought she handled the greatest weakness question really well.
That's a classic one for sure.
It is. She admitted to being afraid of public speaking.
But then she immediately talked about how she's working to overcome it.
Right, she's taking action.
Exactly. It showed self-awareness and that growth mindset again.
It's so powerful. Okay, so we've talked about answering their questions.
Yeah.
But what about when it's our turn to ask questions?
Ah, yes. That's a crucial part.
I'll admit, I sometimes blank on this. Any tips?
Remember, it's your chance to interview them.
Oh, I like that. Turning the tables a bit.
Exactly. Don't waste it on generic questions.
Okay, so not what are the benefits like?
Not unless that's a deal breaker for you. Ask questions that really dig into the company's culture.
Like what? Give me some examples.
You could ask, what are the biggest challenges the team is facing right now?
Oh, that's good. It shows I'm thinking about the big picture.
Exactly. You can also ask, what qualities are most valued in employees here?
I see. That shows I'm interested in fitting in with their team.
You got it. Those kinds of questions show you're not just thinking about yourself.
You're thinking about how you can contribute.
Exactly. It's about finding a win-win for both of you.
I like that perspective. Okay, before we move on, one more thing about that mock interview video.
Sure.
What about the ending? How did she wrap things up?
She did a great job. She restated her enthusiasm for the position.
Oh, so they know she's really interested.
Right, and she thanked the interviewer for their time.
Basic manners, but important.
Absolutely. And she emphasized her desire to contribute to the company.
So she left them with a strong, positive impression.
Exactly. It's like a final reminder of her value.
Like saying, hey, remember me, I'm awesome.
Yeah, it's about ending on that high note.
I'm loving all these insights. I feel like I'm getting a backstage pass to American job interviews. But I have a feeling there's still more to uncover.
You're right. In part 3, we'll explore those tricky cultural differences, things that can really make or break an interview.
Okay, we're back for the final part of our deep dive.
We've covered a lot of ground. Those interview questions, the nonverbals.
Yeah, but there's this one big thing we haven't really talked about yet.
Oh, you mean those tricky cultural differences?
Exactly. They can really trip people up, especially in a job interview.
It's amazing how what's considered polite in one culture can be totally off in another.
Right. So what are some key things our listener, who might be new to interviewing in America, should keep in mind?
Well, the guide highlights some interesting things, like in some cultures, it's seen as professional to be very reserved during an interview.
Oh, I see. But in the US, you're expected to show more enthusiasm, right?
Exactly. You don't want to seem bored or uninterested, even if you're nervous.
So it's about finding that balance.
Yeah.
Being professional, but still showing your personality.
Right. It's like you're adapting your style to fit the American context.
I like that. Like, you're speaking the same language, but with a slightly different accent.
Makes sense. Speaking of adapting, let's look at that mock interview video again.
Okay. Anything in the ending that reveals some cultural insights?
There's this one small thing. At the very end, the interviewer says, "I'll give you a call in the next 3 days."
Oh, right. I remember that.
Now, in some cultures, that might feel like they're brushing you off.
Yeah, like they're not really interested.
But in the US, it's pretty normal to wait a few days for a response.
So don't panic if you don't hear back right away.
Exactly. It's just part of the process here.
Okay, good to know. It's fascinating how much these cultural norms can affect communication, especially in something as important as a job interview.
It really is. And it just shows how important it is to be aware of these differences.
Right, because those first impressions really matter.
Absolutely. But the good news is we can all learn and adapt.
And that's what makes it so interesting.
Exactly. The more we understand different cultures, the better communicators we become.
Okay, so as we wrap up this whole deep dive, what's the biggest takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
I'd say it's the power of preparation. The more you know about American English job interviews, the more confident you'll be.
I agree. And that confidence will make a huge difference.
It really will. It's like they say, chance favors the prepared mind.
Or, in this case, the prepared interviewee.
Exactly. But remember, preparation isn't just about memorizing answers.
Right. It's about cultural awareness, too.
Exactly. Understanding those unspoken rules.
Which is why this guide from Rachel's English is so valuable.
Absolutely. It's like having an insider's guide to the whole process.
Okay, I think we've officially aced this deep dive. Our listener is now ready to rock that American English job interview.
They've got all the tools they need.
The questions, the nonverbals, the cultural tips.
They're good to go. But before we say goodbye, one last thought for our listener.
Oh, yes.
Remember, the interview process is a two-way street. It's also about you assessing the company.
Oh, that's so amazing.
Don't be afraid to ask those tough questions. Make sure it's the right fit for you, too.
So true. It's not just about impressing them, it's about finding that perfect match.
Where both sides are excited about the opportunity.
Exactly. Well, on that note, we wish you all the best of luck in your job search. Remember, preparation is key, confidence is contagious, and a little cultural awareness goes a long way.
We're cheering for you.
You got this.